All right, so let's say you just spent a bunch of money on a laser cutter. It shows up, it's on your front door, you got it on your desk, it's out of the box. The fear of breaking it's starting to slowly go away. And now comes the question, how do you actually make something with it? Yes, there is the option you can buy pre-made files on Etsy, but don't waste your money doing that because I'm going to show you how to do it for free. First things first, go to inkscape.org and download Inkscape whether you're on Mac or PC. Once you have Inkscape downloaded, go ahead and open it up and hit new document. And this right here is going to be your main working screen. Now, you can get really into Inkscape and deep into the technicalities of it, but this is going to be just starting off, hey, I just unboxed my Glowforge. I just need to learn how to make something with it so I'm not blowing money on Etsy. Within Inkscape, I'm going to show you union, break apart, trace bitmap, object to path, stroke to path. Those last two, object to path and stroke to path, you need to know those for text. And I'll let you know in just a minute. And I'll let you know in just a minute why. Group, align and distribute, layers, and finally, the difference between fill and stroke paint when it comes to your laser cutter. The first one I'm going to show you is how to trace bitmap. This is going to be when you're first starting out, probably what you end up doing quite a bit, and this is going to blow your mind. Let's say you want to go on the internet, you're like, oh, hey, there's this logo I really like. Okay, so anything that has like a black outline or anything like this, let's say you decided to buy this, or hypothetically, let's say you make it. I'd never suggest you stealing somebody's stuff. So I don't know, maybe you do you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to show you how to trace a bitmap. But for the purpose of this video, I'll go ahead and select royalty-free ones. So let's say you find this wolf, right click it, copy the image, go back to Inkscape, Command V to paste it, or right click and paste. Now that you have the image in here, go to Path, Trace Bitmap, and you'll have this option, brightness threshold, and you can change this. Feel free to play around with this if you want, but after a year of doing this, I just can't recommend anything other than this. And usually, depending on the picture that you bring in here, 0.45 is going to work perfect for you. But the thing I would recommend changing if an image isn't coming out as well as you'd like it to is adjust this parameter. You can make it go up to 1 and you'll notice more detail appear in the image. So let's say we change this to, let's do 0.85, 8.87, because I hit 8.7, hit update, you can see that it gets a little thicker around the edge there. Go ahead and hit apply, and then it'll make a new wolf for you that's just a little bit thicker than this one. And depending on the image that you have, if you have a pure black image, it's probably not going to matter for the most part. But I will warn you, if you have a picture, just like a regular picture, this is not how you engrave it with a Glowforge. I'll show you how to do that on a different video. Now, one thing I do want to show you is after you have this design here, you'll notice you have this, which is the original image, and this, which is now your picture within Inkscape that you can manipulate and your laser will actually be able to see. Now you'll notice when you double click on it, these little squares pop up all around the image. These are called nodes. You can do with these nodes is you can manipulate these nodes and move them however you would like. And it helps you really pinpoint and finalize a design. If at any point you screw up, just hit Command Z and it will take you back, or Control Z if you're on Windows. Another useful piece you can do with node editing is, let's say this eye, if you're going to make this very small and you thought, I don't think this is going to cut out very well at all. what you can do is just highlight all these squares, hit delete, and it's gone. And you no longer have to worry about it trying to cut something or some piece that's just way too small and isn't going to work. This maybe isn't the best example because if you were cutting this out, depending on the size, like even like a 5" by 5", it would be able to do that fine. Now, theoretically, if you wanted to, you're good to go. Like you could just load this design into your Glowforge as is, and you could cut it out. Let's say you want to have a circle and you want to have this design on it, or any design that you just traced the bitmap for. Go ahead, make a circle, and now I'll show you the alignment tool and why that's so helpful. So you have your wolf. All you have to do is click on the wolf, click shift, hold shift really, and click on the circle at the same time. It'll select both of them. Another way that you can do this is if you drag a box and you highlight everything you want to be selected, it'll do that as well. And what you want to do is go to align and distribute, this little tab up here, and this center on vertical axis and center on horizontal axis will line it up so it's perfectly in the middle. And oops, let's say, oh, this isn't what I want. Where's the wolf? I want the wolf on top. It's okay. All you have to do on your keyboard is if you want the layer to go to the way back, hit end. But now let's say, oh, I actually want that circle in front. You want an object to come to the front, hit home on your keyboard and it'll bring that object to the front. But we want it in the back in this case, so hit end. Now it is perfectly aligned center and center with this. However, you can see that that's maybe not exactly how we like it or want it. The wolf seems like it might be a bit too big. So let's shrink that down. Again, select the circle. We'll do this. We'll line it up perfectly. And now that is perfectly in the center of it. And I didn't realize it was going to take this long. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to have to make another one. Hey, I already showed you trace, bitmap, align, and distribute. You got this. You want to cut it. But okay, well, you don't want all this on it. So what you want to do is highlight it, copy, go over to your layers menu, hit this plus icon. You can give your layer a name if you want. Name it, let's just say cut layer. Now we'll make the layer 1, this layer, invisible by hitting the eye icon. Now make sure this trips you up sometimes. So if you go to this layer and try and do something, nothing will show up because the eye is not checked. So make sure you hit the cut layer icon to go to this layer. Go ahead and hit Control V, again paste, to get your object here. Let's say, hey, I want this to be 5 inches. You can do that. All you have to do, change this from millimeters to inches, hit this lock icon so everything will remain the same size on the height and the width. Say, let's change that to 5, hit enter, changes it to 5 inches, beautiful. Now, actually, I'm going to go a step and above and beyond and show you. Let's say you want to have a little hole right here so you can hang this thing up. Pretty easy to do. Make yourself a circle. Let's go ahead and make it 6 millimeters by 6 millimeters. Okay, how are we going to line all these together? So this is where grouping is going to come into play. So once you have it like this, go to Object, Group, and you have your wolf and your circle now almost as one. But let's say, I don't want it to be like that. It's okay. So you have this selected, this grouped object, and go ahead and hold shift and select this green circle. Go back to align and distribute, line them up. And what I would personally recommend, it's pretty simple. You can hit up on your arrow key or hit shift and up and it'll jump up for you. And now that'll be perfectly center in your circle. Now to get it to cut out, this is the next best part. Highlight the circle again, hold shift, highlight the circle and wolf that's grouped together, go over to path and hit difference. And as you'll notice, it didn't actually do anything there because this is grouped together. So you want to go back to object and select ungroup. So it's two separate objects. Now that it's two separate objects here, you're going to want to select the circle, hold shift, and now go to path and difference. And it'll now get rid of this little chunk here. So the laser line here will be, this is also important because if you have a different color, it's going to prompt you to say, okay, what do you want me to do? So if you have the circle as one color, it'll say, okay, what do I do with color blue? And you say cut. Cut means blue. And that's what the Glowforge will do. So then it sees the color black, and the Glowforge will ask you, okay, what do you want me to do with the color black? And you say, okay, I want you to engrave the color black. And that is how your laser is going to decipher how you want the thing you're making to be cut or engraved. And there's also the option to score. And scoring will just do a rough outline. So now that you have this here, go ahead and save your file. Once you're on the Glowforge website, go ahead and hit upload file. Go ahead and hit open. Your Glowforge will go ahead and process it. And your Glowforge will now be seeing the object you have. And you'll notice my Glowforge is offline as I'm not actually going to cut this out. I actually don't want this. That'd be a total waste of wood. As I was saying with the color thing, you can see the wolf. It's saying, okay, this is the black. What do you want me to engrave, cut, score, or just straight up ignore it? Now, I'm going to say engrave it. These are my Baltic birch wood settings. I do 785, 60, and 195 inch per line. The higher you put this up, the more time it's going to take, but the more detail you're likely going to see. And with the speed of your laser, it's going to depend on the type of wood. Next up, go to your other color, which remember was blue, and this will be the cut line. So go ahead and select cut. My Baltic birch cut settings are 180. I also have the Glowforge Pro, FYI, full power. Once you have all these settings set, you'll notice your Glowforge, it'll be like, yeah, you don't have a proof grade material. That's fine. All you have to do is hit set your focus, click anywhere on the screen. Make sure your image is within the parameters or just really on the object you want it to cut from. And then it'll pop up and say ready. All you have to do is click ready. It'll load and it'll tell you the cut time or the total time it'll take to finish your cutout. And you go to your Glowforge, you press the start button, and you're cutting. And that's all you gotta do, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to show you more on the next one.